Hey, you know, when I was looking around through my camera collection, I've discovered that I had a couple other things that really should be with this part. And I know we've talked about sports photographers before, and they started off with these big cameras, and then we ended up with the 35 millimeter cameras. Well, one of the things that sports photographers wanted to do was they wanted to have something that they could shoot several sequences, because shooting a lot of action can happen between the and the so they came up with motor drives like this. And this little motor drive here, this is attached. This is a Nikon, and all you do to put it on there is to put it on that way, and then you have a motor drive, and you can go up to, I think this goes up to 4 frames a second. So that was pretty good. Now, some of them said, well, gee, what about even faster than that? So they wanted 8, 10 frames a second. So the Nikon came up with this little baby. I think I've showed you this before, but I'll go into a little more detail this time. This is a huge motor drive. This is an MD1, motor drive 1, and it fits on the Nikon F series. So to take this camera, what you do is remove the back like that, and it slips on to the front like this, and it locks in place on both sides, and you now have 250 exposures. So you can go at, I think this went up to, well, let's see, what does it say here? It goes up to about 10 frames a second. And it also has a 9-volt package that you could go and plug into here. This has its own batteries, but it also has a higher voltage supply so that you can run through 250 exposures in about 2 or 3 minutes. So that really does the job. And this was a great photographer's dream that shoots sports, mainly the people like Sports Illustrated and things. They all had these things, and they're really kind of rare now. But I noticed on eBay that there are a few people that are still selling those things. So anyway, that's kind of a fun little thing that I happened to discover, that when looking around, I found this 250 exposure back. And okay, that was one item that I wanted to show you. Another thing is the 3D thing. Now, we haven't talked too much about 3D, but this is something this is called a Nishika, and this is an N8000. And the Nishika had a very unusual thing. Now, earlier in this program, I showed you a sequence camera, and this kind of looks like that. Let me open this up here. I'll get rid of that. And this is almost a brand new one. I've only used this once. And this was given to me by a friend, Stan, my friend. It takes regular 35 millimeter film. And this is what it looks like. Isn't that strange? It's got 4 lenses, and it makes 4 separate pictures on a roll. And let's see if I can find one here. Yeah, there's that. It takes that strip of film and makes 4 exposures. Now, what they do with that is they take, and when they print it with a special printer, and they have an overlay that is a lenticular lens. And so that it's not really 3D, but it makes you, as you take the picture and you look at it and you wiggle it back and forth, it gives you the 3D impression. So it's really kind of neat. Here's a picture of that. Yeah, see, the girl appears to be standing away from there, and so it looks pretty good. Okay, this this particular camera, the Nishika came out in 1989, and it was going to be the really neat thing that everybody was going to have. They hired Vincent Price to do this. Oh, I think it's about a 17-minute film, and he was really trying to sell this thing. It wasn't all it was cracked up to be. A lot of people are now using these. They retrofit these, and they make GIFs out of them. If you are into using a GIF in emails or stuff like that, this is one of the cameras that they use to make those GIFs that appear to be moving. So that's kind of an interesting thing. If you want to find out more about this, there's a guy by the name of George Ferrofino, he does a thing called Dusty Graphics, and or Dusty Grain website, and he has a whole thing on the Nishika N8000. I had one roll of film that I shot with it. I went back to Iowa, and my wife's old place that had an old barn, and we did a whole bunch of photographs of the barn. When I got back, I found out that Nishika had gone bankrupt, and so now all I have is the film. So I never did get to see what it looked like, but it was kind of a fun thing. Anyway, that's the Nishika. Coming along with 3D stuff, let me set this aside without dropping everything. Okay, got another little thing here that is just, it's really weird. This is called the Prism Stereo. Now, Stereo Realist was a camera that came out in the 50s, and if you remember some of the old slides that they put in the hand viewer, well, Stereo Realist had a 3D thing that you could look at, and that was pretty neat too. This is something that I'm not sure anybody has ever seen. I was aware of this, that they had them, and we had some in the camera store when I was there, but I never thought it was a neat idea. And what this does, let me take the Nikon off of here, and I'll put the back on it. Okay, now this particular thing is there's a whole bunch of things in this kit here, and I'll show you how this works. First of all, you take it has a 62 millimeter screw on it, and this screws into the front of the Nikon F, like so. Now they tell you, I'll show you this instruction manual of how you use this. It's a Prism Stereo, and what it does is you take the picture this way, and you look through the back here, and you could see it has a little projection thing through here, and you figure out where it is, and you take the picture. Now, the picture that you see, I'm going to show you. Oh, here it is right here. It has a little viewer with it. And you take the slides, you develop these regular slides, 35 millimeter. They go into this little viewer here, and you can see those. And this is the image that we get. Of course, it isn't going to show like 3D on your computer. So, but anyway, that's the way it did it. But it was not a real popular thing, because who wants to go around and shoot pictures like this? It has a thing that goes on to a projector. It was like a Viewmaster, but it was slides. It was transparencies, and you could actually put this thing on your projector, take this thing off, and you could project 3D images and use glasses. So anyway, that was a thing. Now the Nishika was advertised as 3D without glasses. You could just see it, but it really was kind of just a novelty thing, and that was about it on that. So let's see what else we have here that I wanted to show you. Was here's something that this is a cable release. Now today, if you want to go and you can set up your camera with a remote, and you can be, a long ways away from your camera and still make the exposure. And you have, Wi-Fi is a thing that wasn't even a dream at this time. This is a long cable. It's about 25 feet. And you put a cable release in here and attach that to your camera. And so you could be 25 feet away and you set your camera up, say, near a blind where animals will come up to get a drink, and then you could take the picture from a distance. So that was before Wi-Fi, but I found this in my darkroom and under one of the shelves, and I thought, I remember using that. So anyway, it's kind of neat. Okay, well, so that's the 3D part that was never really took a hold. I know some people have, a few years ago, they had 3D televisions so you could wear glasses and things like that, but 3D has always been a kind of a novelty thing, and it took off in some places, and some places it didn't. So it's just a thing that that was a novelty, but not really anything significant in photography. Hope you enjoyed this little added piece to this. Next time we're going to be doing slides, and we'll try to be really transparent with you. And we're going to do this through Larry's lens.